Nicholas Woodkeyback. Going to read from my novel, Parabolic Magnetic Key, doing segment number 5. Page 22. Before exiting the tent, Olfenkirky said, "We really should find a way to keep this tent from flapping in the wind so much." In the meantime, on the other side of town, Mick and Dave entered the law enforcement headquarters in hopes of discussing the stolen property they confiscated and were bringing in. After about a 10-minute conversation, Mick and Dave walked out the door with the 500 Giddy government-issued trading item reward that had been posted for the deal, the dead or alive capture of the wanted thieves. "Slightly more ceremonious and verbose than necessary, I thought," Dave said. "I agree. I'm just glad the thieves are going to get a proper burial, and that the stolen money will be returned." "Same here," Dave said to Mick. "Should we first seek to replenish our supplies, or try and find out what the military is up to?" "I think we should make contact with members of the military first, because it sure seems their activity as of late has started to increase, as if they were just about to leave." "I guess I just noticed that now, too. To whom should we talk?" Mick scanned his surroundings to gauge the situation and replied to Dave, "Over there, those two soldiers standing against the wall look like they're in a talking mood." They walked the 40 yards to the strangers and began a conversation. "Hello, fellow countrymen. I am Mick Thriker, and this is my friend Dave Greer." "Nice to finally meet you, Mick and Dave," Mike, the shorter man, replied. "In this company, at least, your name precedes you. Our most elite warrior, Jason Thorncat, always speaks of his childhood and how he constantly got bested by two of his friends in sword training, you two. But he refers to you more often by your nicknames, Hawk and Leopard. He hopes someday you will join this company." "Those were some good times," Dave admitted. "We called Jason Fox. I don't remember why, though. Hey, Mick, I think we should help resurface those names again." "Sounds like a plan, Leopard," Mick replied, saying the last word of the sentence emphatically. "So, where is our old pal Jason at? We were actually hoping to run into him while we were here in Zant." Making himself known, Bob, the taller man, voiced, "I don't think you'll get a chance to communicate with Jason anymore. We are all pulling stakes in haste at this very moment. We're headed to Strin, hoping to absorb Brayton's archers and secure the town." "I suppose that answers the question we came to you to ask," Mick voiced. "Unrelated, have you had any news of the Eastern Front?" "Nothing new as of late," Mick responded. After a few more minutes of exchanging pleasantries, Mick said, "It was nice to have met you, Mike and Bob. Maybe we'll run into you later." Mike and Bob shook the hands of Mick and Dave, wished them well, and took leave of their company. The commotion of the army vacating town engulfed the senses. Traveling in Zant started to become constrictive. "I think it would be best to sojourn here a while, maybe sleep and replenish supply." Planting himself on a bench, Dave supplied response to Mick's statement. "I'm good with that, but for now I'm going to sit here for a spell and try to stay away from the stampeding crowd." Mick sat on the adjacent bench. Overall, there were 3 benches at the rest stop. The 3 benches were surrounded by towering oak trees, which provided sufficient amounts of shade and beauty. Ornate pots bookended the 3 benches, containing an assortment of flowers which probably needed to be watered every few days or so. "Let's play a game, Dave. It's called Guess Which Person in Town is the one who actually waters these flowers." "I would if I could, but I can't. But my energy at the moment is drained, so I'm just going to sit here and think." "I'll possibly regain my composure in due time," said Dave while stretching and yawning. After a while, and a few up-close visits from a myriad of bird species coming from the tree canopy above, Mick and Dave became well rested. They started to get up from their own personal perches, but both coincidentally had to sit back down because of the notorious head rush. I haven't had that happen lately," said Mick. "Let's try that again. Eh, Leopard?" "Oh, Hawk," Dave replied with hands on head. Dave pointed towards one of the storefronts. "There's your pot waterer right there, the woman holding the watering can. She looks like she is waiting for us to leave these benches so she can do the watering." Mick responded, laughing slightly. "Looks like you're the winner after all." "Yep. That store in front of which she appeared has food to sell. Let's go and grab a few accoutrements there." "Good idea." Mick and Dave entered the tiny store, which exhibited no more than 4 showcases of fruits, and vegetables, a meat counter, and 2 or 3 setups of miscellaneous foodstuffs. Along with bandages for Mick's leg, they bought 5 pounds of potatoes, 3 pounds of onions, 2 pounds of tomatoes, some flour, a pinch of salt, and a small bag of sugar. Necessities. Enough to fill the food compartments of their packs. The rest of the food they ate was accumulated throughout their travels, such as fish, small game, and random edible plants. As efficiently as always, Mick and Dave finished up at the food store. The lady whom they earlier spotted attending to water the flowers walked back into the store. Dave found the woman to be exceedingly beautiful, so he couldn't help but desire conversation with her. One man temporarily possessing the courage of 10, Dave walked towards the lady holding the watering can. Mick, in the interim, gave Dave space in the name of teamwork. "Sure is a wonderful day," Dave said to the lady with what he hoped was a successful attempt at a winning smile. The lady nervously set down the watering can in hopes that it would buy her enough time to think and respond somewhat eloquently. "It sure is. It was supposed to rain today, but who listened to those weather predictors anyways? Pure mysticism, if you ask me." "I certainly don't listen to them. They're never right. Nice to meet you. My name is Dave, and my fellow traveling companion over there, looking suspiciously at the fruit, is Mick." "Nice to meet you, Dave." "Nice to meet you too, Mick." She spoke the latter in a slightly raised voice so it could be heard from afar. Mick heard and raised his hand in recognition. She continued, "My name is Serrana, and this is my grandfather's store. Believe it or not, he actually turned 100 years old last week and still works the store once in a while. Usually, though, it's either my mom or I who tend to things here. It certainly is a nice store, and the goods are certainly reasonably priced. Thank you so much for keeping those pots at the wayside watered. It sure is a beautiful place to stop and rest." You could kind of say the nurturing of the spot runs in our family. My grandmother, rest her soul, was the one to plant those oak trees from seed when she was a child. She also designed and built the place. Ever since her death, it's my mother and I who perform the anonymous required maintenances. We also catalog every bird species that visits. It's a bigger list than you'd think. I imagine. Dave took a second to ponder and put forth, "So if your grandfather is 100 years old, and assuming your grandmother was about the same age, the Oaks will soon celebrate their centennial." "You would be correct. We should throw a celebration in their honor." Dave chuckled. "Good idea. You should. There's nothing more artful than an old tree, I'll say." Dave spanned the impressive trees with admiring eyes. "I agree, Dave. Just imagine how artful they'll be in another 100 years. Glorious, to be sure. You could throw a bicentennial celebration then." "I won't be throwing much of anything if I've managed to live that long." The pair laughed together. "Same here." Endeavoring to conclude the conversation with poise, Dave communicated, "Thanks again for tending to the spectacular wayside locale. It was pleasant to have met you, Serrana, and maybe I'll run into you again sometime soon." "I'm glad we met also. And yes, maybe we'll encounter each other again sometime, somewhere. I'm always taking produce to the neighboring towns to sell at the farmer's market, so maybe then." "Yeah, hopefully. May the rest of your day be as beautiful as you." Serrana blushed. Alright, that's it for that segment. Thanks for listening. And have a good day.